Welcome to Real Estate in Real Time. I'm Woody Zimmerman here with Mark Skabowski of Remax Lakes. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Doing well. Last week we were talking about affordability, and things are they're correcting, so to speak.
We're starting to get more towards normal.
Yeah.
Whatever the new normal is.
Yeah, whatever the new normal is.
There.
Yeah.
We're getting there, I think.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely still a seller's market.
Yeah, leaning a little bit more towards a more balanced market. It isn't a buyer's market yet. The pendulum, because those are the three. You got sellers, balanced, and normal.
Yeah.
Or a buyer's market, I'm sorry. So sellers, we experienced for a long time. We had multiple offers, over list price, no inspections, no concessions eventually. Essentially all of that. A more balanced market, both sides have got a little bit of negotiating power. Buyers aren't ruling the roost, but you got a little bit of leverage when it comes to buying.
Any idea on how long it sits like into that normal market? I mean, it has been a seller's market for quite some time, for several years.
It has been.
You know what I mean? So
put a number on it, I don't know that anybody could predict it because so many factors come into play.
Sure.
Prices, mortgage rates, the economy, unemployment, all of those things. If you think back to the 08-09 years, when unemployment shot up, well, there was oversupply of inventory and prices dropped dramatically.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was definitely a buyer's market. So we went from what we considered was the normal market. It was kind of balanced. I was relatively new in the business, 4 or 5 years in, and it was like, well, there was always negotiation taking place.
Yeah.
Well, when we hit that, homes that were in the pandemic where they were selling and, listed, sold in a day.
Yeah.
We were 4, 5, 6 months with no showings, because there was no demand with unemployment high. So to put this is the timeline, we could swing, that pendulum could go very dramatically from that sellers or that lean towards a more balanced market to a buyer's market in the blink of an eye. Depends on what the economy's doing. Depends on all of those factors that come into play. So to put a timeline on it, I don't think you can.
Yeah.
And the bad thing is we don't really know until we know.
Right.
You don't know until you're in it.
Yeah.
So sort of like, until you read the bill, you don't know what's in it, or until we enact it, you don't know what's in it.
Right.
It's the same thing here. Until we're in that market, we won't know that we're in that market. Now we have signs, indicators that we're heading more towards that balanced market, but we could fly through that and go straight to a buyer's market and not know it until we're there.
And a lot of that's based on inventory, and I know you want to talk about inventory today.
Based on inventory. So, I've got a lot of pretty cool tools as far as information I can gather nationally and also some specifically for us. So the comparison, when I say us, Kosciusko County, and I did Warsaw and Winona Lake since it's the largest population center in our county. So the active listing count for the Warsaw and Winona Lake this is through July, so July to July.
Okay.
Excluding any pending listings, the active listings is 83 listings. Now that was in July of 24.
Okay.
I don't have a comparison of 23, but if you look at the national trend, we're mirroring the national trend. When I say look at it, we can see it. You can't see it there, but we can. The national trend line, we're mirroring the national trend line.
We are.
So is the number of listings have increased, the number of active listings have increased. In Warsaw, it's a good thing for buyers. It again, that swing from the sellers, no inventory, to we're getting to a more balanced market. There's more houses available. So in the Warsaw and Winona Lake area, there's 83 homes available for sale. This is excluding pending listings.
I remember COVID when there was like 30, 40 or what,
the whole county.
In the whole county, you're
in
right.
The whole county.
Yeah.
This is just Warsaw and Winona Lake. So interesting part for the county is there's 199 listings available. So comparatively, and again, why do we choose Warsaw? Well, we're 83. We're almost half of that total number in Warsaw and Winona Lake. So there's 199 active listings in the county at the end of July. it's much better than the 30, 40, 50 we saw for the whole county in those preceding years. Now, the interesting piece to all of this is some of those homes are sitting on the market a little bit longer, and sellers are finally beginning to adjust to what's going on with the marketplace. And they're talking about price reductions. So we're seeing, homes that have been listed. We go out there, we think we hit the nail on the head as far as pricing goes, and we get out there and they haven't sold quickly. Well, for whatever reason, sellers have examined their why. Should I adjust? Should I not adjust? And we're starting to see more price reductions take place in the marketplace. So, and after the break, we can talk a little bit about price reductions in Warsaw, price reductions in the entire county, and lots of other stuff.
All right, very good. You're listening to Real Estate in Real Time. Welcome back. You're listening to Real Estate in Real Time. I'm Woody Zimmerman here with Mark Skabowski, and we've been talking about inventory, and there is more inventory in the market right now, and also we're seeing a lot more price reductions than what we have in the past.
Yeah, we're starting to see more sellers for whatever reason, whether it's there's no demand or, hey, their sense of urgency on getting their home sold has increased, because I met with folks that are listening, well, I really don't have to sell, I just want to test the waters. Well, okay.
Yeah.
So let's list high and see what happens. Well, it's funny how that changes over time.
Yeah.
So what they're telling me up front isn't necessarily the whole story.
Right, right.
You
exactly.
get it. You want to be in the ballpark so you can get activity. But ultimately, if you need to get it sold, you may need to reduce your price. And we're starting to see more of that. So the Warsaw market, we talked about the active listing count was 83 at the end of July.
Right.
In July of 24, there were 42 of those, almost half, reduced their price in the month of July.
Wow, that seems pretty high, but
that's significant.
Yeah, it is.
And the county mirrors it, right? We had 199 listings in the county at the end of July, had 108 price reductions, so more than half. So, and again, the national trend line, we're right in line with that. So sellers, for whatever reason, have priced their homes. They didn't sell. What's one way you can do it? Well, I'll be a seller. It's your pictures. The pictures are why my house didn't sell. Okay, we get professional photography, your house still doesn't sell. Now what? Well, it's because you're not marketing it. Well, I can show you on the Facebook looks, the Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Realtor.com, Zillow, I can show you all the activity.
It's not the marketing.
It's not the marketing. It comes down to price.
Yeah.
And I've had this adage forever. Doesn't matter what the condition of a house is. Doesn't matter what the location of a house is. It truly doesn't. Every house is sellable, but it's at what price? And ultimately, in order to get a house sold, the seller's got to agree to the price.
Right.
The buyer's got to agree to the price. And if they're financing, the bank has to agree to the price.
Yeah.
So every house is sellable, but at what price? If you've got a house that's in terrible condition, you're not going to get a maximum price for it.
Right.
Now, in COVID, that kind of shifted. I mean, people were buying whatever.
Sight unseen.
Sight unseen.
Yeah.
There were a lot of things. We're going back to the old ways. Hallelujah. Where, you know what? If your house is in decent shape, you need to make sure it's in good condition. You've got all of the things fixed that need to be fixed. Put it out there on the market, price it right, and it will sell.
Yeah.
Because there's still strong demand. Off air, we were talking about the number of people that are coming in. There's more and more population. There's more people out there, and there's still not enough inventory. We're not even back to pre-pandemic inventory.
So the market is strong.
There is a strong market for housing.
Prices are settling, and so that means more activity.
More activity. Just in the last, since interest rates ticked down, from where we were at that 7.5 to 6.5, it's amazing the amount of activity that has gone on. I had more activity in the last couple of weeks than I've had in a while. And I'm not having a terrible year. I'm not having a year like last year, which was fantastic, but there's still a lot of activity. All of that, along with all of the changes and the requirements and the regulations related to being a buyer's agent, there is still a lot of activity, people out there actively looking for homes. And again, there is still a shortage of homes.
Well, I think people are coming to realize that what a lot of people talked about, that prices are just gonna, sink, that they're gonna fall off the cliff and go down, and they're gonna be able to get, like deals again.
Yeah.
That's not happening. I mean,
it's not happening.
No, you're not getting there. You're not gonna find like just, extraordinary deals. I
Correct.
mean, I guess maybe if you search long and hard, but it goes back to your why.
They could. I mean, and that's that, 1 in a million, even a blind squirrel, right?
Yeah, finds a nut.
nut occasionally.
Yeah, right.
So it can happen, but the reality is buyers are coming to the realization that homes are sitting on the market a little bit longer, but that just because they are on the market for 45 days does not mean the seller's willing to take a 20% scalping to sell that house. Right. And that for a long time, you still got the old timers. Well, start at 20% off and work your way up.
Yeah,
that is still not the case. Things are still selling for 97%, 3% off. They're not selling for 15 and 20%.
But
off.
Sellers during those COVID years, sellers were able to take a number, throw it against the wall to see if it would stick.
Absolutely,
those days are gone now.
Those days are gone. You have to do your homework and price it right, fairly. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I mean, we missed the mark.
No, but that's where I think an agent earns their money, is like because they're checking out comps. They can actually tell just because Jim's house sold down the street. Well, Jim might be he might have 5 bedrooms and you got 3. So it's.
I've got the gold nails. That's what I always say, right?
Yeah.
Well, I have better drywall than they do.
Right.
That really impacts the price.
Little Joey grew up here. I mean.
Again, so we have to adjust to what the market conditions are. So you take your best shot as far as pricing goes. And see what the market will bear as it goes. But for buyers, just because it's on the market for 45 days does not mean you're going to get a steal. Mm-hmm. It does not. The days on market is beginning to increase. Mm-hmm. It used to be it's on the market for more than a week. What's wrong with it?
Yeah.
When I say it used to, a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
This isn't a couple of years ago. The number of homes available have increased. Buyers have more choices.
You've always said that real estate's local.
Absolutely.
And that plays into that.
It definitely plays into it. While we're following or mirroring the trend line, it's not exactly the same. And we're in pockets here, even by zip codes. Why, when I do the detailed statistical analysis, do we go by zip codes? Mm-hmm. Because the market in Mentone is different than the market in Syracuse.
Right.
The market in Leesburg is different than the market in Warsaw.
Yeah.
I mean, all of those things come into play. So definitely real estate is local.
So definitely it's still a good time to sell.
Still a good time to sell.
And good time to buy.
And it's a good time to buy. And that's not me being a salesperson.
Right. No, it really is from the data that we're looking at.
Right.
All right. If you'd like to continue this conversation with Mark, make sure you reach out. Mark, contact info?
Sure. Our website, skabowskiteam.com. Phone numbers 574-527-0660. Mark at skabowskiteam.com. Can always shoot me an email.
All right. Sounds good. You've been listening to Real Estate in Real Time. Have yourself a wonderful weekend.